Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living North Metro. I'm Reverend Michael Torphy,
I'm Reverend Valerie Torphy.
and we have some other people here. There we go.
Hi, my name's Anthony Pritchard. I'll be your moderator today.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Ernestine Garcia, and I'll be doing the readings.
I'm Jake Fernandez.
I'm Susan Clark, and I'll be providing the music for the service today.
So as you can see, we have a wonderful crew to put this service on today. We thank everybody for their part in it. Let's start with an invocation.
Yes. So I just invite you to close your eyes. And just take a deep breath in. As we recognize that breath is the breath of God, just reinvigorating and renewing and refreshing our bodies, and that breath comes and goes whether we're aware of it or not, just like God is present within us, as all that is, when we're aware of it and when we're not. And so I just take this time to, in this recognition of our oneness with the one, with each other, with all that is, I just bless this service as it unfolds today. I know that everything that needs to be said is said, and everything that needs to be heard is heard, and that this is a glorious, amazing, insightful, wondrous day and wondrous service. And together we say, and so it is.
Yes. We're going to get started with one of our wonderful musicians. Her name is Susan Clark, and she's got some music for us today. Hi, Susan.
Yes, I do. I'm going to do a chant. It's by Karen Drucker. It's very simple, so I expect you all to be singing along in the comfort of wherever you are. The words, all is well, I can rest, I am safe, all is well. So. Here we go. All is well, I can rest, I am safe. All is well, all is well, I can rest, I am safe. All is well, 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 I can rest, I am safe. All is well, all is well, I can rest, I am safe. All is well, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. One more time, all the way through. All is well, all is well, I can rest, I can rest, I am safe, I am safe. All is well, all is well, I can rest, I am safe. All is well, I am safe. All is well, all is well.
Thank you so much. It's so beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Staying in the theme of things, I see.
Yes, and setting the tone.
Yes. Okay, we have some things to do, and we'll be back to you.
All right. So, lost my notes. Like us and check in at cslnorthmetro.org. Yeah, and check out Oh, no. Like us and check in on Facebook. Okay, so here we go. Starting over. And then go to our website, cslnorthmetro.org, and you can go to contact us to add yourself to the email list so that you know the things that we're doing. You can go to prayer request and request a prayer, and we'll pray on it all week. And you can see the titles and the musicians and all the thing that's there on our website. And also Reverend Michael does a blog, and it's almost time for him to do a new one. So, and Anthony Pritchard, our wonderful, I forget what he called himself today. No, he didn't call himself the producer. He called himself something else. So, but what'd you call yourself?
The moderator.
Moderator.
All of the above.
Yes. And so he's showing those things on our website that you can go check out. And so Reverend Michael does a blog about once a month, and it's about time for a new one. So you want to check that out too.
Hint, hint, hint.
Hint, hint. Oh, hint, hint to you. And so also, if you shop on Amazon and you're not supporting another nonprofit, we invite you to go to smile.amazon.com and select Center for Spiritual Living North Metro as your charity. And then as you shop, we get paid, which is kind of a good thing for us.
Mhm.
And for you, if you're enjoying what we're doing. So today's title is Safe. Our guest artist you've already met, Susan Clark. And our reading today is from The Master Speaks by Joel S. Goldsmith.
Hi.
Good morning. Is it time for the affirmations?
Mm-hmm.
Anthony is putting on the screen for me. I just have
There you go.
to take this moment to say thank you to Susan. That song was just what I needed to hear. Okay, back on task. Sorry. Affirmations for the week of April 24th, 2022 by Stephan Anthony. Please repeat after me. All that I need and desire is already made manifest by the universe.
All that I need and desire is already made manifest by the universe.
I celebrate the simple act of living each glorious day.
I celebrate the simple act of living each glorious day.
My oneness with Spirit turns all worries and fears into faith and grace.
My oneness with Spirit turns all worries and fears into faith and grace.
The creative essence of the divine flows through all that I do.
The creative essence of the divine flows through all that I do.
There is always an innate joy and love present in my soul.
There is always an innate joy and love present in my soul.
I am whole and complete, created in God's infinite wisdom.
I am whole and complete, created in God's infinite wisdom.
And together we say,
And so it is. I jumped the gun.
oh, that's okay.
It's already done.
As Reverend Valerie said, the reading today is from the book, The Master Speaks, written by Joel Goldsmith. It does not make any difference what happens in this so-called external world or to it. Your consciousness will form it anew. It does not make any difference if an atomic bomb wipes it out. Your consciousness will form it anew. God is your individual consciousness. God is individual consciousness. And individual consciousness is forever creating and revealing its own self as the infinite forms necessary to your demonstration or unfoldment. So, whether your good is appearing to you today as a gift from someone or as a salary, please learn to look through it to the actual source so that you do not become dependent on it. Never become dependent on your salary, on your job, on your dividends, on your husband, on your wife, even while they may be the avenue through which your good is appearing at the moment. Learn not to be dependent on them, but to look through them and see God as the source of your good unfolding to you. We, in our work, must find our complete oneness with God, so that all that God has makes itself manifest in our individual experience, regardless of what is going on in the world around us. Whether or not it blows up, whether or not there is enough rain for the crops, we must find our oneness with God. And together we say,
And
and
So
so
it
it
is.
is.
Thank you, Ernestine. Nice job.
You're
Ready for some more music?
I am.
Everybody ready for some more music?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
here we
I'm,
go.
I'm ready for some more music.
That's good.
I'm always ready for more music.
You are.
So, like many of us in Science of Mind and New Thought philosophy, I came from another walk. I came from a Christian church when I was a kid. We went to church every Sunday, and I kind of learned how to sing in church. So when I saw Reverend Michael's title of Safe, this old hymn came to mind. So it was actually written in the 1800s. So we're in the way back machine now, and it's called Leaning on the Everlasting Arms.
Hmm.
What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. What a blessedness, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how bright the path grows from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms. I am leaning, I am leaning, and I am safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, I am leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. I have blessed peace with my Lord so near. I am leaning on the everlasting arms. You know I am leaning, I am leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, I am leaning, Hallelujah, Susan. Amen.
Amen.
Wow, that was awesome. Talk about
Thank you.
being right in sync with what we're talking about today. This is beautiful, powerful. Thank you.
You're
We'll be
welcome.
back to you in a short while.
Sounds good.
Okay. Leaning on the everlasting arms of
I
Spirit.
think I remember that one.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, oh yeah, I heard this one before a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and it falls in sync with what we're talking about, being safe. And have you ever considered what being safe means to you? Have you ever thought about what, if you could define being safe, what would it be to you?
Now or before I found?
Try both.
Okay, so before I found Science of Mind, and I was brought up with the punishing, got to do it all right, could go to hell, that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of meant being perfect all the time and never stepping out of the bounds.
Mm.
Yes.
And now?
Well, you told me not to do all my talk.
Oh,
All right, then.
okay. We will skip to now later.
Didn't you?
Yep.
Okay.
Stand corrected, as always. Always being corrected.
Yes, dear.
Yeah.
Safe.
Say.
Safe.
your pain.
Absolutely.
So-
Okay. What does safe mean to you?
Glad you asked. For me, it's being in alignment with Spirit, being in alignment with God, being in alignment with the universe, being in alignment with myself, being in that oneness, and actually sensing it and moving forward in all of the tasks that I do and all the people that I meet. If I'm in alignment with Spirit, then I don't have to beg or beseech or make deals with God through my prayer work. I can claim what it is that I desire and know that it's already there. It sounds simple, but it takes a lot of work to get to that place in your heart where you just absolutely know it and you feel it. It's a sensation. It's a wonderful sensation. And we can always bring our attention back to that. It's not like we go through this world and we're in that absolute alignment all the time. No, we wouldn't be human. We wouldn't be having this human experience if that was so. But we can always bring ourselves back and know that by centering yourself and knowing the truth of who you are, that you're one with Spirit, one with life, one with all that exists, then it's easy. Well, I say easy because it's sort of easy for me because I've had years and years of practice, but we can all practice, and practice makes perfect. As a lot of people know, baseball was my first love. I had this mitt that I got from my stepfather, and that was in '62, and he paid $75 for this mitt.
Whoa.
That was a lot of money,
That was a lot
but
of
it
money.
was a professional mitt, and I used to sleep with it. I would wrap it and oil it, and just to break it in, and it was just one of the most wonderful things that I could have got. So I'm going to compare living your vision, seeking your vision, or your purpose, or a divine idea that's wanting to be birthed through you, to baseball. Now, in baseball, in order to hit the ball, you got to stand up to the plate, right?
Right.
You have to stand up to the plate because you're not going to hit the ball if you're not standing up to
I'm
the
not
plate.
going to hit it if I do stand up.
Don't claim that.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience of not
I'm
hitting
not
the
gonna
ball
accept
when
that.
I stand up to the
If you
plate.
stand up to the plate long enough, you will hit the ball,
Okay.
or the ball will hit you. It'll be all good. So anyway, you hit the ball and you go to first symbolically. And what does the umpire say? If the ball doesn't get there in time, safe. There you go. Safe. There he is. And we can do this in our
Oh, you got the right team up there, and you're
Jackie
hero
Robinson.
too. How about that?
You know, I'm gonna
Talk
tell.
about being in two.
I gotta tell a short story because the Dodgers are actually celebrating Jackie Robinson month this month. And way long time ago, I was 7 or 8 years old, and my dad had a gig in, I don't know, Mobile, Alabama, or Jackson, Mississippi, someplace he was playing. And me and my younger brother and my mom were out for a walk in the park. And I was thirsty, and I thought I was going to get a drink of water. And I went up to the water fountain. There's 2 fountains. One says colored only. And I thought it meant colored water because I had no idea. So I started drinking, and this good old boy came up and started yelling at me and telling me this and telling me that. And I had no idea what he was talking about. I was disappointed because the water wasn't colored. But anyway, here comes my little 5'2" mom and steps in between us. And she used language like I never heard before. She just cussed this guy out and told him that she told him what it was. He was a bigot, and I'm like shrinking behind her. So we get home, and my dad happened to be watching a ball game. I think we were in Atlanta, yeah, because he was watching. No, it wasn't Atlanta.
Never mind.
Never mind. But anyway, I started asking him questions, and he starts telling me a story about Jackie Robinson. So because we moved so much, I shared with you, I went to over 100 grammar schools because my dad was a musician and only stayed in a place 2 or 3 weeks.
I can't even imagine that.
Well, I can imagine it. And he started telling me about Jackie Robinson, and in that moment, I adopted the Dodgers as my team. So I'm going to root for the Dodgers because they brought Jackie Robinson into baseball. So fast forward many years ago to Jackie Robinson's 50th anniversary of coming into baseball, the Agape Choir, which I was part of, got asked to sing the Star Spangled Banner at Dodger Stadium. And get this, it was on my birthday. On my birthday, I sang Star Spangled Banner. Talk.
I can't tell this story. I
get choked up.
I know you do, and that's wonderful.
So that was like the most, it was my 50th birthday, excuse me. It was my 50th birthday, 50th anniversary of Jackie Robinson. And I got to celebrate with Carl Anderson, who was this awesome, he played Jesus Christ.
So he did.
Yeah, he was
Jesus Christ Superstar.
No,
he was
the one that did Jesus.
Yeah,
Judas. So it was just like this wonderful, glorious thing that happened in my life. And it has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. But
it kind of does.
I had to tell the story because as soon as I saw that picture of Jackie, said, yeah, there you go. And he stole home plate one time. So let's get back to baseball. So you got to first base. And for me, that comparatively, that is catching a vision. Getting to first base is catching a vision or getting a divine idea that just comes through you seemingly from out of nowhere or something to that effect. Or maybe it's a purpose that says that you get to live and become. So the ball gets out into the outfield and you see that you can get past first and maybe head for second. Second base for me is treating for the direction of how you can move towards this vision. So you caught the vision, and now you go into prayer work, into treatment, and you're treating to see what directions do I have to take? What steps can I take? And you wait as you pass second and realize, oh, there's more to this, because now you've caught the vision, you've treated for the vision, and now you're moving towards third base, which is action. You have to take action. You can't just sit there and say, well, I caught the vision, and I'm not treating, and now I don't have to do anything, because you'll be directed to do what it is you need to do. And the glory of it all is you hit an in the park home run, so you head for home and you slide and you're safe. You're always safe, because when you live in alignment with Spirit reassures your safety, no matter what's going on around you. And comparatively, when you think of an in the park home run, it's the home run in the park is the interior of you. within you, the you that is being guided and directed, the you that was given this vision in the first place, the you that is dynamic because you're living your purpose, you're living the idea. You're not just doing the idea, you are the idea and you're living it, and you're showing yourself that there is always more to my life, that here I am. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for baseball. And thank you for knowing that I can reach any height of, yeah, there it goes, baseball. It all comes back. As a young boy, 7 or 8 years old, I come all these years forward and I'm living my purpose. My purpose, I was guided to this moment in time to be a minister, and I didn't know how that was going to happen. I didn't even know it was going to happen. Believe me, when Spirit said, you're going to be a minister, I thought God knows everything about me. How could I be a minister? But I know the truth, that through all my mistakes, through all the downs and ups of my life, it was all perfect because it was building me, just as you take your first hit to first base and catch that vision or catch an idea or realize that there's a divine purpose for your life, then you keep running. You move to second, you move to third, and you reach the pinnacle of life, that home plate. There's God within. You're always home, you're always safe.
So when I first started thinking about this title, I thought a lot about the things that are in the reading, because it's so hard for us to watch a lot of the things that are going on in the world today and know that there's a greater order, that every person, regardless of what's happening to them physically, is safe and is loved and is eternal, and that's something bigger than what we can in our human eyes see is going on, and that each one of us came here to do something that brings us forward in our eternal growth. And some of those things are small, and some of those things are huge, like some of the things that are going on now. And it's just all part of the eternal process. Like Joel Goldsmith talks about, if a bomb hits, we're all still okay. And so what would it be like to live each day knowing no matter what happens today, we're okay? But I know one of the things that happened during the pandemic for me was we stayed home so long, it got a little scary going out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really did. And I feel really fortunate that I wasn't home alone during all that time when we couldn't go out. And so fortunate. I'm going to talk about Anthony Pritchard for just a minute here. We've talked about this a little bit before the service. He's moderating our service today. However, in February of, was that 2020?
Mm-hmm.
We went to Center for Spiritual Living's annual convention. It happened to be in Denver, and they had this kind of gala thing up on the 32nd floor of this building that had glass all the way around the outside, and it was just fabulous. And so we went, and Michael and I went, and we got some food, and we sat down at the table, and this really attractive young couple comes up and says something like, "Can we sit here?" And we're like, "Well, absolutely. We've been saving it for you." And so we're talking and getting to know each other a little bit. And he says, "So I'm working on this idea of a thing that I can help small centers do to help them grow. And I'm looking for a small center." And we're both going, "You're looking for us." "We know you are." And so that was, I don't remember, but the very next Tuesday after the convention was over, he comes over here. And at the time, he taught us how to broadcast on Facebook. But as he was saying this morning when we were talking before, in between the first week and the second week, StreamYard came out, and now we could broadcast on Facebook and on YouTube and do all the things that we're doing now. Anthony taught us all of those things. Anthony taught us that
He said us all wrong.
he did everything. We would, and none of us knew at that time that for the next 2 years, that was going to be the only way we did service. And so I just want to say a really big thank you. And then if you usually watch us and you saw how we started today, Anthony's just so creative. So we have all new stuff to show. And so thank you. And it's part of being open to whatever comes up and understanding, oh, this is how my path is going now, and this is next, and we're safe and we're okay, and it's all right, and on we go. And so we've stepped into having a hybrid service now, which is probably what we're all going to be doing from now on. So we have some people here and some people watching us online, and we do the Zoom thing afterwards, and we all get together. And eventually, I'm guessing that we'll get another space that's not in our home to meet because we'll be too big for here, and that will be a lovely, wonderful thing. And we still will be broadcasting because that's how we're doing things these days. Anyway, I kind of got off track. So how would you be if you knew you were eternal, you're safe, and you're loved? Regardless of what you're thinking, what you're doing, what's going on in your life, regardless of any of the things that we look at and say, this is not enough, this is not okay, this is not how it's supposed to be, I made this mistake, I should have done this, I could have done this. Regardless of all of that, what would it be like to know in every moment, in every single moment, that you're absolutely loved? That every thought you think, every mistake you've made, everything you've done right, everything you haven't done, you're all always loved. Unconditionally loved all of the time. And we're all safe all of the time because outside of this body that we condensed ourselves into is this eternal being that's one with everything, one with all that is, one with that one power and that one presence and that one divine creator that creates all of the glorious things we see, all that's ever been, all that ever will be. And as we stare out into space, billions of light years away, and there's still amazing creation. It's also much bigger than my little mind can grasp, and yet we're one with all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I love this that Joel Goldsmith says. He says, when you have touched this presence, when you have felt it, you can give up all concern, all worry, and all fear for the rest of your life. All your worries are behind you. How would we be and how would we live if we knew that in every moment of every day, if we really, really got the truth of our being, that there's an indwelling presence that is creating the possibilities, is always protecting, is always loving, and that even when we make what we call a mistake, it's just part of our eternal growth, and that there's not any blame or any, even so there are human consequences for things. I'm not saying that there aren't, but eternally we're okay. Eternally we're loved. Eternally we're safe in this moment, in every moment, all of the time, regardless of the things that are going on the planet. So it invites me to think about the things that Ernest Holmes says, and the other teachers too, about how we can't afford to hate. Because what we're putting out into the world, we're creating more of. And so if we look out into the world at the things that are going on, and it sometimes is very tempting to blame and to hate and to shame and to, if we allow ourselves to do that, we allow ourselves to go to that place, we're adding to it. I'm looking at Kim right now, and I'm thinking at what she said when Russia first attacked Ukraine. And she said, we need to all send love to Putin's heart. We need to really, really send love to Putin's heart. Because it's lacking, it's missing, it's needing. And just imagine that we can all get into that place where, regardless of what's going on, we can understand that we're the love, that we're the power, that we're the presence, that we're the ones, all of us in Centers for Spiritual Living, in religious science, in all of the teachings that preach love, we're all part of the solution. We're all part of where we're going. We're all part of it. And as we create that love in ourselves, and as we pass that love on, and as we share it, and as we share it, and as we share it, we're creating the world that's coming. And we're creating it by being that space of love, by being that space of peace and harmony and joy in the midst of all that's going on. Talk about that.
Well, I was just thinking of the word fail. And there's a lot of blame going on that we're not doing enough, that this country should be doing more, and we're failing to support them the way we should be supporting, and we're shooting ourselves, and we're talking all this stuff. And in spiritual terms, it doesn't mean anything, because as a species, we are here to evolve. And sometimes the process of evolution is very painful and chaotic, and brings forth change. And even those that are so peaceful sometimes have a hard time with change. And each one of us may be invited to do something, or to take a step towards something in the process of being part of that change. And you may hear, well, why should I do that? It just seems like it's setting myself up to fail. Well, there's no such thing as failure. There's mistakes, but there's no such thing as failure, because you stepping forward, and whatever it is that you're stepping forward in, is a win right off the bat, because you've said yes to Spirit. And even if you think what you were supposed to do didn't get done, and you label that as failure, then something in your consciousness prior to that created that. So if I think, I'm going to read this thing I wrote. If I think I'm going to fail at something, and I do nothing, and I don't do that something because I think I'm going to fail, then I've proven to myself that I've already failed. Did you catch that? Mm-hmm. You want me to read it again? Because I had to read it for several, it just sort of came to me. If I think I'm going to fail at something, and I don't do that something because I think I'm going to fail, then I've already proven to myself that I failed. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing of feeling safe where you're at, no matter what's going on to you, symbolically, we could all be having our inward Ukraine-Russia battle. We could be battling something within ourselves. And the only way to get past that is to raise above it. Because if we meet it at the level of the experience, then it's going to go the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. And we as a species are very powerful. What?
No, I don't. So we're listening to Colorado Public Radio yesterday, and they were having this science thing on, and they found this barrel of ocean water that had been used in an experiment in the 80s. And there were a bunch of barrels, and they'd done a bunch of testing, and somebody came in and said, okay, we need you to get rid of all these barrels because we're going to do something new. So this guy's dumping the barrels of ocean water out, and he realizes there's this one barrel that hasn't been touched since the 80s, and he decides he should open it up and look at it. So he does, and there's still life going on inside that barrel that's been going on since the 80s. And so it brings up a whole bunch of conversation and a whole bunch of things where they then do experiments and then put it on the computer and then do all this stuff, and they figure out that life is chaos. And now that's really the only thing that they can say is that it's chaos, because what they thought would happen and what they thought would go extinct and what they thought would happen this way and that way didn't happen that way at all. And they're still, I mean, we didn't get to listen to the whole thing, but they were still talking about how we need to be able to put this into order because this is all chaos. And I'm sitting there thinking, but I think maybe chaos is the order, and that is divine, and then that all we need to do is understand that sometimes it looks like chaos and it's all still good.
Yeah, something's being created.
Something's being created. It might not look like what my mind wants it to look like or what your mind wants it to look like, but it's all still God, and it's all still being created, and it's all still good.
Yeah. It was an interesting show.
It really was.
Because we were all, Reverend Valerie and I were even drawing our own conclusions, and we're not here to figure it out, folks. We're not here just to be all that we can be, to quote an old saying. And if you find anything that seems to be against you, be for it. That's a hard practice, but just maybe meditate on that all week. If something's against me, let me be for it. Not the it that is being destructive, but the it that is God, it with a capital I, the it that is the Spirit of the living God within that situation. To me, that's the highest thing that we can do on this planet.
That's it.
That's it.
I think we should pray.
Yeah, that's it.
So I just invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep cleansing breath. As we recognize that there is only God, there is only love, there is only this one power and this one presence that's created this amazing, diverse universe. That is all we can see and all we cannot see, because the human spectrum is very small. So there's much, much, much we see and much that we don't. And it's all God.
Oh, yeah.
All of the time. And so just knowing that everything is God, that my life is God's life, that each and every person here present with us today and everyone everywhere is one with each other, one with God, one with all that is, all of the time. That there's no separation, regardless of how much our human self wants to separate things. There is no separation. We are all one all of the time, and it is good, and it is powerful, and it is wonderful. And I know for us, oneness and truth and joy and abundance and power and opportunity and acceptance and love and peace. And I just pass this word to Reverend Michael.
Thank you. And continuing in this vein of thought, let us recognize that uniqueness that each one of us is.
Yes.
Let us recognize it, and let us know that in that uniqueness are so many divine opportunities, so many divine places of expansion and growth, that right where each one of us is this unlimited source of love and peace, this unlimited source of the highest possibilities that can take place on this planet. Let us send light and love to that area known as the Ukraine and Russia. Let us see the dropping of weapons. Let us see the shaking of hands. Let us see it, even though we can't see it with our our eyes of sight. Let us see it with our third eye. Let us know that beyond what's going on now, there's something grander and greater happening on this planet. We are growing, we're expanding, and out of the chaos will come the glory of our new way of being. I know this at the depth of my heart. I don't have to be around to see it take place, but I know it's already taken place in the mind of God. God put us here. God sustains us. God maintains us. God keeps us safe. So as you move through this week, know that you move in absolute safety, that you're guided and directed to what it is that you have to give, those that you need to contact, and just send out love.
Yes.
Love, love,
Yes,
love.
yes, yes.
And knowing that this word has power and it cannot come back void, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God, I am thankful, so very grateful. Grateful for this time together, grateful for this, our newly created spiritual center, grateful for those that are part of it and those that are still on their way to join us.
Yes.
And with this heart full of gratitude, I can now release this word into the love, into the law, by simply saying all together, and so it is.
Amen, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and together we say, woo-hoo!
There's a brave soul inside I'm still longing to be. Buried so deep she's like a distant memory. She's sick and tired of waiting, holding her breath. Wants to wake up and shake up the life that God has left. There's someone in my mirror whose voice keeps getting clearer, asking, what would I do this year if I had no fear? So I'm making a list of things I haven't done in life, and I'm writing ass excuses for why I never tried. The palomino never written, the cello never played, and I realize there's nothing that I can't start today. There's someone in my mirror whose voice keeps getting clearer, asking, what would I do this year if I had no fear? No fear here, na 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 na. No fear here, na 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 na. There's no fear here, na 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 na. No fear here, na 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 na. So I'm starting with my A-list: Africa and Asia, Auckland, Antarctica, Alaska and Australia. Next comes the B-list: be confident, be brave, be daring enough to refuse to behave. 'Cause there's someone in my mirror whose voice keeps getting clearer, asking, what would I do this year if I had no fear? There's no fear here, da 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 da. No fear here, da 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 da. No fear here. You think you could sing that last line with me? No fear here. 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 Only love. Only love.
Oh, another great choice.
That was
Thank you.
wonderful.
Who wrote that? Who wrote that?
Janice Stanfield wrote that. Janice Stanfield. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
That was really perfect. Thank
Yeah,
you.
she's all over the place. If you want to find her on the internet, just type in Janice Stanfield. And that song in particular, she has a TED Talk where she starts her TED Talk with that song and then elaborates on it. So, yeah, If I Had No Fear, Janice Stanfield, TED Talks. Check it out.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
have some business to do, and then we'll be back to you. I want to thank our
Moderator.
moderator for his sense of humor, from HEAR to HERE.
It has been a wonderful pleasure having you here. We enjoy it so much.
Okay,
We're going to do this.
no, we're going to do this.
We're going to do this. We're going to
So-
do this.
Join us in the celebration of this new center, and the celebration of all those that contribute to it, and the celebration of its future and its growth. Join us and help support us. Send a token of your love. We'd appreciate it. We bless it and know that you'll receive a lot more than what you give.
That's right.
So together, point your energy toward the screen and repeat after me. Thank you, dear Spirit.
Thank you, dear Spirit.
Thank you for the prosperity and abundance in my life.
Thank you for the prosperity and abundance in my life.
Thank you for good health.
Thank you for good health.
Thank you for good friends.
Thank you for good friends.
Thank you for community.
Thank you for community.
Thank you for family.
Thank you for family.
Thank you for this planet that we get to live on.
Thank you for this planet we get to live on.
I send these blessings out into the world.
I send these blessings out into the world,
Know that they do good work.
knowing that they do good work,
Knowing that this is so,
knowing that this is so,
and so it is.
and so it is.
All right. Now you can do that.
Well, I think now we're going to have another
Yeah,
song.
that's right. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that.
Susan Clark, where are you?
Hey, here I'm floating through the cosmos to join
Yay.
my,
So we met Susan when she was the music director at the Center for Spiritual Living in Denver. And I told Reverend Michael, it's like, okay, we got to get her to perform at our center sometimes too. And now we have her once a month.
and look what happened. Yes.
And I knew it when I first heard you. It's like,
I'm
yes,
actually,
yes.
I'm going to be up in Denver in June, so maybe we can hook up in person. And,
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
Yes. But it's been a wonderful relationship, and I always enjoy my time with you. I like getting both perspectives from Rev Michael and Rev Valerie. It always evens out. I'm going to do a song by Claudia Carolan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is called Fearless.
Oh, wonderful.
Me, when I thought about being safe, I thought about an absence of fear and just being fearless, kind of knowing that the universe is directing and there are no mistakes, and just to go for it, right?
Yes.
I was born to live life fully. to let go of regret, to walk the high wire of life without a safety net, to follow something even bigger than my pride, to show up with courage even when I'm trembling inside. And I will not worry about what others think of me. And I will not be shackled by the chains of conformity. I'll break the mold set in the past, keep pushing till I'm free at last. I'll follow the path of my heart, make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. Oh, I am fearless. I'll follow the road to adventure everywhere. I'll let the top hit down and let the wind tangle up my hair. I'll hitch my dreams onto the brightest star. On the trapeze of life, I'll just throw my heart right over the bar. 'Cause on the other side of fear, there lies euphoria, and a better understanding of who you really are. I'll break the mold set in my past, keep pushing till I'm free at last. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. Oh, I am fearless. I'll push outside the comfort zone, remembering I'm not alone. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. I'll make my life what else my dream interesting stuff, isn't it? Oh, won't you call me fearless? Oh, I am fearless. So won't you take me out to the ball? Take me out to the fields. I am safe. I am safe. Safe.
Oh, you're a genius.
Om Durgaya Nama.
Say
I
that.
am fearless.
Oh,
Fearless.
thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Want to bring back everybody? Let's bring back. Yeah. Here we go. Make an announcement.
This is where I usually announce that we're having Zoom meeting right after the service, but actually this week we're not, because all of us that are here are going on field trip together today. That's been in the plans for months and months and months, and postponed a few times, and so we're on our way to do that today, all of us together. So for those of you who usually join us on Zoom, we'll see you next week, hopefully.
And a big thank you to Anthony for jumping in there and running this service in such a creative and beautiful way. Thank you, Anthony. you were a blessing to the spiritual center and continue to
Yeah, absolutely.
share your
Amen.
gifts.
Absolutely.
My pleasure. I love your service, guys.
Thank you. So we'll keep you on standby so whenever we need somebody. You're the man.
Well, actually, I think we need somebody next week, but we can talk about that later.
Okay.
So, want to pray out?
Sure. So I just invite you to take another deep breath as we recognize the oneness, the allness, the isness, our oneness with all that is, with each other, and give thanks. Give thanks for this time together. Give thanks for this amazing life. Give thanks for all of the good in our lives. Give thanks for the opportunity to recognize the truth of our being, that we are one with all that is all the time. And so in absolute gratitude, I bless each and every one of us as we leave this service this day and go throughout our week. I know that we are blessed and we are the blessing. And so together we say, and so it is.
Go out and be fearless.
Yeah.
Bye, Susan.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Love you. Have a great
Love you
week.
too.